leather gloves were slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts were working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick, was chasing the beer that circled the lips. Play ball, play ball. Load up the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.
Hello and welcome to Laughter Saves Lives Live.
What?
I'm your host, Olivia LaRocchia, and on tonight's show,
You are not. Why, Alex? Why are we starting without me? Hello, welcome to Laughter Saves Lives Live. You have to say it.
Laughter
Live.
Saves Lives Live.
And watch this, brought to you by the law firm of Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community. Hello, Patrick. It's Johnny Plug time, says Patrick. So tonight,
Always.
my co-host is somebody that is very close to me, Olivia Lynn LaRocchia,
That's
the
me.
Binghamton Master's graduate of a few weeks ago.
That's right.
She had her own apartment up in Binghamton, and now she's back living with me. Oh, my God. If she's not
boy.
smiling, you know why. Hello, Ann. Oh, my God. Poor Livy, back with the dad. How does that feel, Liv?
You know, there's some mixed feelings. There's some mixed feelings for sure.
I am very, very easy to live with. Am I correct? There's
I have to
no
argue with that one. I think.
nagging going on.
Nagging 24/7.
I mean, you're home like what are you home, a week?
A week.
She's working. She got a paid internship. Get out there, Liv. Yep. Get out there, pay for some of those loans. And she's out there working. And today she just wanted, I needed help with the pool. Oh, that's the thing. She had her new boyfriend coming over this weekend to meet everybody.
Poor
And
guy.
she says to me, Dad, can you open the pool because Dan is coming over? Can I open the pool? This is how my
Is
summer's
that
gonna
such
start.
a big question?
Then she's sunbathing in the yard today. The pool is open, and I asked her to help me with the cover, but she's sunbathing. So this is going to be a long summer for both of us,
Tell me about it.
especially her, this poor kid. So anyway, I wanted her to co-host for a long time. She's an environmental major. What is your major, Liv? I know it's communities.
Still can't get it right.
Sustainability. Sustaining community in the communities. Sustaining the community.
Communities. Yes.
What is it? What is the major?
Exactly. My undergraduate was environmental science, and my master's was sustainable communities,
Which means
which is like a local perspective on sustainability. Sustainability is the intersection of environment, economics, and equity.
did you say perspective?
So there is an issue. Just so you know,
What?
Alex. If Alex can get the regular microphone, the handheld microphone,
Yeah.
on the stand out and put it in front of Liv, because
Yeah.
we're having an issue that we can maybe fix, but we can't hear Liv. She's dropping in.
Yeah,
and
Liv,
out.
it all?
Can you hear me?
You're going in and out, so we'll just have you. There we go.
Give me that.
Fun.
Going there. You know,
Okay.
I forgot my bag today with all my fire. I feel naked. Tommy's picture, my fire trucks. I'm all disheveled about Olivia being here because I know I'm gonna lose control.
She's the report.
You want to hold the mic?
Sure do.
Do we have a stand for Alex? We do.
We should.
All right, thanks, Alex.
There we
Oh,
go.
I'm gonna hold
Now
it.
you're not on yet. Alex is going to put you on right now. Let's see
Organized.
if we got you.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Not yet. We will in a second.
Hello.
Hey, Alex, we're all friends here. Just yell when Liv is good.
All right. Can you
There
hear
we
me,
go.
folks? She's back.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say right up front? 22 years ago, I think it was today, was the final day of the rescue and recovery from 9/11. Just a day to acknowledge, very, very, very tough day for a lot of the families because that was the final day they were doing rescue and recovery. So I just saw that on Facebook today. Figured I'd mention it. I went to my eye doctor. What a transition. I went to my eye doctor the other day, Dr. Becker.
Lovely.
Maybe I shouldn't be saying her name, right?
I mean, maybe.
She's good. She's very busy. She's good. But she did one of these. This is the second time she did it. She says, everything looks great. But come back tomorrow for laser surgery. And I went, excuse me? Come back tomorrow for laser. We're going to laser your eyes. I go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that yet. I'll get a second opinion. So I'm not doing that.
Sounds like an old man thing to say.
It does.
Me.
It does.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Where did you go Sunday night? And the play gonna play.
I was one of the lucky ones.
Yeah. See, I'm singing Old Taylor because I don't really.
It's a great song.
Shake it up.
It stands
Shake
the test
it off.
of time.
Shake it off, right?
Shake
Look
it
at me,
off.
I'm dancing like an old freaking guy.
Is
Oh
that where
my
I get my
God.
moves from?
You don't have any moves. Well, you have better moves than me. Did you?
I hope so.
I'm looking at myself in the camera like, oh my God, I look so old.
Right?
That was an old dance. Maybe, still old. So you went to Taylor Swift. How was
the
that?
Eras tour, everyone.
How was that?
It was incredible. Absolutely life-changing. No
Life-changing?
No one throws a concert like Taylor Swift
Excuse me, but Sunday night, Laughter Saves Live had a Laughter Saves Live had a concert, comedy night, at a theater.
Okay.
And we raised money for General Needs LTD. As I've said many times, they assist homeless and needy veterans with basic stuff, boots, shoes, socks, a mattress if they find them a home, pots and pans. We raised some money for them and for Fight for Firefighters, which builds the ramps for disabled firefighters and their families, and Laughter Saves Lives. It was a fun night. I had on a bunch of my friends, all comics who serve. It was the first official show in the Laughter Saves Lives Heroes Tour. Now, it's a little uncomfortable. Hey, there's John Solano. It's a little John Solano is going to be in our Heroes Tour, Laughter Saves Lives Heroes Tour. He is a hero, Mr. Salerno, because if you've ever seen his comedy act and he still gets on stage and delivers it, that's a hero. That's bravery to deliver material like that in front of an audience. I love that man. So, hello, John Salerno. We had on Pat Marone, who's an assisted living care chef, but he goes above and beyond. He dresses up for holidays. He takes care of our seniors in a way that most people don't. Hero. We had on Roseanne Sorrentino. She was a teacher. She's an assistant principal now. Hero. The way that the teachers took care of our kids during COVID, right? We had on Jack Clunan, who's at FDNY EMS. We had on John Santo, who used to be an EMT. And Art, who we just spoke to on the phone a little while ago. We tried to get him to call in. 88-year-old veteran who's doing comedy.
Amazing.
Who's
that's going to be you?
He's Solano saying a meatball hero. He's probably talking about me, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's you, for sure.
So Art was funny, 88 years old. He went up there. What a funny guy.
You still want to do comedy when you're 88?
You know, Grandpa was talking to me about that.
Yeah?
Yeah. And he said, Grandpa always says to me this. He always says, you're looking good, you're doing good with your diet or whatever, but can't you do something for your stomach? That's the way my father gives me a compliment. And my stomach isn't really big, but I don't do sit-ups and I do a lot of work.
You're not a flabby guy.
This is the compliment my daughter gave me a few years ago on the beach. We were walking and I had my shirt off on the beach and I took my shirt off and she looked at me and she goes, Dad, you know what? You're really not a flabby guy. Is that a compliment?
Lovely, no?
Is that a compliment? Is that a compliment, Alex? He doesn't know. Alex.
Come on, it's a compliment.
Memorial Day barbecue at my son's house. Good time was had by all. He goes above and beyond with the food.
Oh, mwah.
Right?
Yeah.
The only problem is, and this is why it's hard to live with me, I guess. If you're going to spend that much money on meat, you need to serve it hot. You need to serve it. I stand by the barbecue and he yells,
we know that.
And I get my samples right off the bar. Listen, I'll eat food cold.
You're full before the food comes out.
Yeah, when I barbecue,
yeah.
yeah. Excuse me, because I'm the one throwing you a big party for your graduation. So watch what you say. Solano, another compliment. You look good. Pause. for your age. Thank you, John.
Wow.
Thank you, John.
I think that's sweet.
Solano's on a
sweet.
roll. No, see, he is funny.
Oh,
The guy
who
is
would
funny.
know? Look at that.
What else do I have on my list? Oh, we're putting in a new kitchen in my house after years of dad bod.
Time.
All right, enough, Solano. Enough. I love you. After
Keep going,
years and years of my wife complaining about the kitchen, finally I gave Paula LaRocchia. Look at me. I
know, right?
She worked her
As if
ass
you, like,
off
gave
as
her
a
permission or
nurse.
something.
Right. But we agreed to have the kitchen put in, and
just in time for me coming home so
Yeah.
that I could cook all the meals.
well, Olivia now invites her boyfriend over. My father's staying over, and there's no kitchen. That's a great week to say the new boyfriend, come on down. Look at the way my parents live.
It's all right. John Vincent fed us.
Yeah, we're cooking on a toaster oven in the dining room, and it's what's next on my list?
All that matters to me is I can have my coffee. in
Make
the
sure we
morning,
say
and that was
share a
doable.
pata when we pronounce Sheenie's name later.
Share
a
a
pata.
pata.
Yeah.
Don't get it
Don't
wrong.
screw it up.
Don't get it wrong.
Don't screw it up.
He's gonna get it wrong. He's not very good with names.
Jeannie Conti went to the funeral today for a mom. I love you. Sorry for your loss. Jeannie is a longtime friend of mine. Jeannie was one of the first ones that said to me, you should become a firefighter.
Yeah.
Yes. And I said, why, Jeannie? And she said, you're really good at nothing else. That's what friends will tell you. That's friends.
That is a friend.
Yes. And
Absolutely.
Jeannie has been friends with me for years and years. And there's only a few women in my life
You know what that is?
that will
A
yell.
hero.
Yes. That will yell at me. Oh,
One of the few. I think I've yelled at you a couple times.
well, that's what I'm saying. My wife, you, my other daughter, Jeannie. There's not too many where I'll listen when you yell at me.
All right.
I'm all over the place, as you notice. What is it called? HD? What is it called?
Mm-hmm.
What is it
No,
called?
go ahead.
HDHD?
ADHD.
Whatever I got.
All right.
Alex, are you laughing at me? Freaking, it's a problem in my house because I'm all over the place.
Sure is.
Especially when I'm on stage, the camera goes on. I mean, I want to put on a good show. We got Sheena Sharapata on tonight, and I'm going to say her name a lot of times. She just gave me the thumbs up. Or did she give me the finger? Was that the thumbs up? The thumbs up. I hope so.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. So I went to the doctor. My family sent me to the doctor. And I apologize if I told the story again on the air. To get evaluated for, what do I have again?
ADHD.
ADHD. To get evaluated.
Because
So
this man was unmedicated his whole life.
Unmedicated. My family wants me medicated. So I went to the doctor and I said, hey, doc.
I hope you didn't say that.
I did. I said, hey, doc. He goes, John,
boy.
what are you doing here? I said, my family wants me to be evaluated for
ADHD.
ADHD.
Mhm.
So he says, well, tell me why. So I went through the whole way I live and how I deal with stuff and all of that stuff. And I spoke for like 20 minutes. And I turned around and I said, what do you think, doc? And he goes, you are messed up. Here's a prescription. So that was it. That was the evaluation.
That's all it took.
So I'm going to go on the meds, I think. I'm going to go on the meds.
I hope so.
How about we go to a break and we're going to come back with a short interview with the new graduate, a little environmental questions, because she has the master's. We paid the tuition.
Sure.
Let's see what she's got now. All right, let's see what she's got.
All right.
So we're going to go to break. We'll be right back with Olivia LaRocchia, the environmentalist.
If you spent time downtown on 9/11 or in the 8 months after, you were exposed to toxic air and may be eligible for compensation from the $10 billion 9/11 Victim Fund. But most people who qualify still haven't claimed what they're entitled to.
I worked downtown. I didn't die. I was an office worker. I felt like there were others who deserved the money more than I did.
A major reason people haven't claimed the money they're due is guilt. They feel guilty claiming funds when others died or were first responders.
I heard there were 9/11 funds, but because I wasn't a first responder, I did not apply.
You do not have to be a first responder to qualify. This fund was created for everyone who worked, lived, or attended school south of Canal Street, who may have experienced or have experienced respiratory illness or any of the 68 cancers linked to the toxins. Even if you have a family history of cancer, there is a presumption linking most cancers to the toxins.
I thought it was too late to make a claim. My spouse worked downtown at a bank and died of cancer. Honestly, I just haven't felt up to it.
The government's $10 billion Victim Fund and Health Program have been permanently extended. You just need to have been below Canal Street on 9/11 or at any time in the following 8 months. To see if you qualify, call or go to 911fund.com to speak to a representative of Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community.
There are many reasons people who are eligible for compensation are not stepping up to claim it. To those who are holding back, I would say just take the first step. Ask for help. Make the call. It's not too late.
I called and I qualified.
I qualify.
I qualify.
Millions of dollars remain unclaimed. You do not have to be seriously ill to qualify.
And we're back. Laughter saves lives. Pow! Live. You got to give it every time we say it. You got to give it a pow! Live here on Strong Island Television in Paradise Studios in beautiful Massapequa, New York. A few minutes from Jones Beach, where I go many a day in my Speedo and jog.
Oh boy.
Yes. Today, our first guest is an environmentalist. She's also our co-host and my daughter, who wants me to take her to eat right after this, or she wasn't going to do the show. Olivia Lynn LaRocchia.
Why clap? That feels weird.
I don't know.
That feels
Usually we have
forced.
applause. Alex, do we have applause tonight?
We got fake applause there? Oh, crickets.
Nothing.
Oh,
No,
boy.
there we go, there we go.
Thank you. All right. I'll
Alex
take
is on
it.
the ball.
I'll take
He's on
it.
the ball, that guy. So, five
Right, these
years
better
of
be some
college.
good
5 years of
questions.
college, right?
5, yes.
Got into a special program where you got your environmental sustainability communities
Oh, boy.
degree. ADHD degree. And
Hey, you got ADHD this time.
were able to finish your master's in only 1 year, pretty much. I mean, you started it in senior year. So where do you go from here now? Let me ask you a general question.
So what are you doing for the rest of your life?
Right. Basically, when are you going to start making the car payment? So what I want to ask you is, okay, what I want to ask you is
Loaded
this.
questions
Yeah,
here. I thought this was going to be about my education.
No. Ba-da-bow. Here's what I want to ask you.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
What do we need to do as individuals to improve our environment or lessen the destruction of the environment? Give me what we need to start doing. Give me a few of those that the average Joe or the average Sheena Sharapata can do.
All right. There's a couple simple things you could do.
What's that?
Like walk, ride your bike instead of using a car, or carpool when you can. Take public transportation when you can. And I'd say probably the biggest thing that we could do is try to use less single-use things. It's very common, paper plates, plastic forks.
Right?
Look at you.
I know.
Shame, shame.
I know.
No. Listen, we all got to do what we got to do, right? But as much as you can, try to reduce single-use things. Granola bars.
What do you mean by granola bars?
They come in packages, right?
Right.
Little packages.
Right.
Try to use less of those. Things like that.
So don't eat granola bars, or
make
them
own,
yourself.
or get them in bulk, bigger. Less packaging.
Oh, I get you. I get you.
Yeah. Or single-use things like this. I have my reusable one. Carry a straw
What about this?
around
Your
with
straw
you.
is not usable tonight, right? I
What?
caught you. Your straw?
No.
That's your reusable straw?
Yeah, reusable straw.
Ooh,
Come on.
caught
Who do you
you.
think I am?
All
Come
right,
on, I
all
wasn't gonna
right.
come on the show with one of these.
You gotta carry a straw in your back pocket?
Yeah, they have some that what was
I'm
that?
very
fold in?
proud of her and the path that she wants to take, because there's two ways to go in your field, right? Am I right? Corporate?
There's many ways
Well,
to go.
I'm
in my
talking
field.
about.
But yeah, you could do corporate sustainability, deal with big corporations who
Right.
need help making their company more environmentally friendly, more
Right.
sustainable, which is still a good job. Don't
Yeah.
But the job that I have right now, I'm working outside. Doing a lot of manual labor, picking weeds. I'm in the dirt. No, but I remove.
Keep talking. Just I want to move you over a little. Keep talking. Good.
I remove invasive plants from the area so that more native plants can grow, which is good for wildlife. And the more diverse plants we have around, the more able we're.
And I don't think most people would know the difference.
Nope.
You
probably wouldn't know, but they're like, you're driving along the highway. Once you get an eye for them, you see that they're everywhere.
Oh yeah, like you can pick it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all along the highway usually is where you find them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, tell a little bit about what you're doing now. I mean, you said a little bit about it. But...
Just did, but
yeah, but I was ADHD. I wasn't listening.
ADHD.
No, I was listening.
No, I work for a nonprofit organization called the Sisters of St. Joseph, and it's actually a convent where the sisters started an organization to help the surrounding community. So it's really cool because it started as a religious organization, but it's so much more than that.
So you're working for the nuns.
I'm working for the nuns.
So when I was in 8th grade, Sister Rose Dominic hit my head against the blackboard.
This is my favorite story.
Do they still, the nuns go out there if you're not doing the job and give you a little whack?
Yeah, actually, if you're doing anything not sustainable, you're using a plastic straw. Whack. No, I'm just kidding. They would be really upset with me for saying that. They're some of the sweetest ladies I've ever met in my life. They're
and
great.
You're one of the sweetest girlies I've met in my life.
Please.
That's my daughter, Olivia. We'll have you on again and talk, but I want to really give Sheena a nice amount of time. So is there anything else you wanted to say? A website you want people to look at, to learn a little more in general? Is there a general environmental website like, hey, what can we do?
That's something you should have told me to prepare.
All right,
for the show.
I don't prepare. Look at Butchie sitting there right now, and he's going to shake his head. Don't come on his feet. I don't prepare. I called Sheena on the way here. How do I pronounce your name? I don't prepare.
How do you pronounce her name?
Sheena. I'm looking. Sharapata.
Sharapata. That's the one.
Because when you go to a fire, there she is. When you go to a fire, Sheena, it's organized confusion, right? You can't plan for a fire. You can plan some things. You got to park the truck in front. That's how I like to run the show. And Sheena's sitting there going, "No kidding." So let's bring in Sheena Sharapata. We heard the applause already.
The applause ready. That's
from the Lone Star State, Texas.
Texas.
What part of Texas are you in right now, Sheena?
I'm in Dallas.
Dallas. Now, different parts of Texas are completely, how can I put this? I'm sorry. Different areas of Texas are completely, like Austin is like another state, right?
Yeah. So what? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Everything that we're doing here in Dallas, obviously, where I work at Planet Ford 635 and Rad Rides, we do a ton of events for veterans and first responders. So where I'm located, very America and giving back and helping where we can.
Oh, I love it. You get right into it. I love that. What I meant was, what makes Dallas different than the rest of the state? For us dopey New Yorkers are going, oh, I know what Texas is all about. They wear cowboy hats and boots and they do line dancing.
Is that not what they do?
Well, but what is Dallas known for?
Gosh, I can't even think right now. I would say just
barbecue.
Yeah, sports, barbecue, Texas.
The Dallas Cowboys. I don't know.
Cowboys. Well, that I knew. I knew the Dallas Cowboys. But all right. So, Sheena, tell us a little bit about your situation. Go right into it.
Yeah. So basically, I played soccer in high school growing up and played on a club team and suffered 8 concussions from playing and had a full ride scholarship that I had to forego.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The concussions were from what? Getting hit with the ball or somebody's knee or what?
So a couple of them, I was actually running up the field and someone slide tackled me and got a red card. So they were kicked out of the game and my feet went one way and my head just went straight into the ground.
Okay.
And then a couple of them, hitting the ground, players would jump up and close their eyes and hit you in the temple. And after you hit 3 or 4 of them, they just kind of happen pretty easily after that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. That's. I mean, there's in baseball they have a whole football. They have a whole protocol these days, right? That they take the person out of the game and they give them tests right there. They didn't have that with high school soccer.
So what usually would happen is I would go to the hospital and they would run, CT scans and MRIs. And basically they would check and kind of what would happen. Hey, no tumors, no aneurysms, no mess, no white matter. You're good to go. 2 weeks later, you're back out playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you feel over time after getting these concussions? Did it affect you on a daily basis?
So I started getting where I would have these episodes and they told me I had migraines with aura is what they called it. But I would get these episodes where I would get like a vertigo, blurred vision. My whole arm and hand would go completely numb, just like dead weight. And then I would get nerve pain in my nose, my tongue, my teeth, ice pick pain in my eye, and I would throw up. Wow. So once again, how that MRI was clear, they just said, hey, this is called migraines with aura. You're going to have episodes. And this started happening like several times a month. And then I ended up quitting soccer.
So they just said, this is going to happen for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, they wanted me to take medication, anti-seizure meds. And I like to call it my feeling from above was always to not do that. So I never took any anti-seizure meds and just tried to figure out what my triggers were. A lot of times when the weather was, storms rolling in with barometric pressure changes, stress, certain foods. So I tried to best what I could adapt and make it a lifestyle. But obviously it started progressing as I got older.
I have vertigo issues. Thank God I haven't had I call them an attack because they're really bad sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was prescribed Meglazine. Did that do anything for you?
I never took them, but I know like one of the big ones is like gabapentin. If you've heard of that one.
No.
Get prescribed that. So. No. But a lot of my symptoms, basically, I'm going to be 37, but that kind of happened all throughout my 20s. And then my symptoms changed and I started getting this crazy head pressure. It felt like my eyes were going to pop out. My hand would numb up. I had so many muscle knots that I was getting 6 deep tissue massages a month, strained vision floaters. And then the big kicker was I started getting electric shocks and stabs in my eye and in my ear. Just random. So if I was talking to someone, all of a sudden it would just be like shocks into your eye and stabs in your ear. And that's what made me go back in when I turned 32.
What did you do when one of those attacks like came upon you?
I just kind of got used to it. I have a really high pain tolerance. But I knew when that happened that something else was going on. So I ended up going back in and once again, they said, hey, your MRI is clear. So this is what happens to so many people that now reach out to me. And basically they said, hey,
what was the condition called?
Yeah. So it's called trigeminal neuralgia, which you have 12 cranial nerves in your head and your 5th nerve is your trigeminal nerve that runs like that. And what happens is you can have an artery, a vein, pressing down on your nerve and it's basically causing short circuiting. And what was the hard part for me is if you Google this, it sounds nothing like what I have. Most people, they can't even touch their face and they get shocks in their teeth and can't eat. And this is actually known as the suicide disease.
Oh, why can't they pick that up on the MRI? Or is it just the person reading it needs to be an expert?
Yes, the radiologist in Dallas missed it. And then luckily the neurosurgeon here was able to find it. And I ended up sending it to Dr. Lim, who was at Johns Hopkins. And now he's the head chair of neurosurgery at Stanford. But there's several top doctors who've read imaging on friends of mine that I've helped. And they say there's no place touching. And then Dr. Lim looks at it. He's like, oh, it's right there. So there's so many people who are told they're not a candidate for surgery and they're suffering, taking meds or anti-seizure pills on disability. or told they can't be helped. But then another top neurosurgeon looks at it, sees it, and then they're able to have this surgery.
So you're saying that all your MRIs from the beginning showed this, they just didn't see it right from the start?
I'm not sure I had a recent one done at 32, but there are people who had MRIs from 5 to 10 years ago that he was able to see the compression, which is where it's touching, what it's called, from that long ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, tell us about the surgery. How long were you out of commission after the surgery, and what did it entail?
Yeah, so it's called an MVD.
I wish we had the picture. I'm sorry. But you've sent me pictures.
Yeah. It's called the MVD, the microvascular decompression surgery. So basically, if you imagine on your hairline right behind your ear, they drill a tiny little hole, kind of like the size of a dime. And they basically go in there and they put a Teflon spacer like this between the artery or vein that is touching the nerve, so they no longer touch each other. So I actually had 2 places touching on one side and then 2 places on the other side, 2 separate surgeries.
And that was probably from the beating you took playing soccer.
Yeah. So from talking to hundreds of people online that have reached out, it appears if you're bilateral on both sides, they say like 2% of people have this. And most of the people who are bilateral is all from concussions and TBI injuries they're seeing.
Wow. Now you've helped other people find this doctor.
Yeah. So I had this feeling from above that was like spread awareness. So obviously for work, I do all these events. So I just started posting my journey on social media, and then just people start reaching out. And a lot of it is they don't have the typical textbook symptoms. So I could touch my face, I could eat, my teeth didn't hurt. So a lot of these doctors are like, oh, you don't have that. And they get dismissed. So they reach out and I kind of just get them connected to Stanford. They do absolutely nothing for me. I just know what it feels like to go 18 years with no answers. Wow. So being able to, bring validation and hope and potentially less pain to someone. It's hard to believe that, 5 minutes of knowledge of my time could help potentially save someone's life. So every post, 5 to 10 people will reach out for help. And then I'll actually walk people through pre and post-op for surgery. I was actually in the hospital only one night, flew back to Dallas 2 days later.
Wow.
And was back at work after 2 weeks. It can be more like 6 to 12. But I like to say that I'm real stubborn. So it was a 2 weeks for me.
Here's what I want to do. Is there a website you want to send people to see anything or learn anything?
I didn't pull that, but if you just basically Google facial pain at Stanford, and then if you are in desperate need, they do virtual consults, and you don't have to have an MRI. You can get that done after. But it's Brain Tumor Center at stanfordhealthcare.org. So you can email them, and then they can set up a virtual consult for you.
Here's what I want to do, Sheena. I want to go to break, and I want to come back, and we'll talk a little bit about the LinkedIn thing then, all right?
Perfect.
All right, Alex, can we go to break, and we'll be back with Sheena.
Hi, I'm Arthur Lee, founder, CEO, and inventor of LifeVac, a simple rescue device that could save a child's life in a choking emergency. All these people were saved with LifeVac. People may not realize that on average, 14 people a day die from choking-related incidents. Every 5 days, one of those is a child.
As simple as place, push, pull.
To learn more, please visit lifevac.net.
All right.
Welcome back.
We're back. Laughter saves lives.
Live. Hey.
Live. Hey, your mother's on the phone. Your mother's on the phone.
Your mother's on the phone?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do about that?
Talk to her, because she's probably something I'm doing. Let's bring Sheena back. It's probably something I'm doing wrong. She's going to come and she's watching. Did you talk to her?
No.
Oh, my God. You didn't talk to your mother. All right. So, Sheena, Butch wanted me to ask you about CTE, that Will Smith movie. Are you familiar?
Will Smith?
Will Smith was in the movie, and Will
Will
Smith. They were both in the movie.
You don't know Will Smith?
Smooth had a bit part. Are you familiar with that?
Yes. So I do know it's different, but there are people who potentially may think they have CTE. Like I know there's a football player in the NFL that actually went to Johns Hopkins and had this. So I kind of tell everyone, you know, if you had concussions, TBI injuries, if you're getting shocks or stabs or spasms, just reach out and they review your imaging, and then you can see if you're a potential candidate. Not everyone could have it, but you know, it's a surgery that is an option or something to look into.
Okay. We have, let's see, we're at 35 minutes, so we have about maybe 5 minutes. I just wanted to talk about the other thing that you do, not your job, the LinkedIn thing, that you help different charities raise money.
Yes.
Being a president of somebody who runs a foundation, that sounds interesting. So tell us a little bit about that, how that can help certain charities out there.
Yeah. So a lot of times, you know, people are posting content on Facebook or LinkedIn, and it's the same people that are following you on Facebook, right? Or on LinkedIn, so many people say, oh, that's for hiring. You know, a couple people added me, like, how's that going to help? So there's kind of two components to it. One of them is you can focus on the area that you're in, obviously, for your nonprofit. And it's really just looking up businesses, following them, and adding some of the people that work there. And then now they're going to be following you. So you're the one that has to be proactive and go out and add the company, hit follow, and start adding, you know, some of the marketing directors and CEOs of different organizations, and then finding out, you know, who is going to follow you that would like to give back to your nonprofit, who's going to support, you know, veterans and first responders, and adding those types of companies, because it construction companies, title companies, mortgage companies. And then the second part of it is really building, you know, you as a brand. So if it's your LinkedIn, me, for example, I'm posting stuff on my surgeries, on work, on the nonprofits. And a lot of it is educating others about what you're doing and what the nonprofit is, so they want to follow you and learn. So basically, if you're posting content, people are going to like it, and the people liking it are the companies that you want to essentially get involved with for business. So it's kind of like a brand building, social selling.
Yeah. I definitely want to have a session with you to speak more about that, because, you know, it's a lot of foundations out there and a lot of people looking for money, and you have to find different ways to do it, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of times people go back to the same companies, and to really keep building and growing and spreading awareness. There's so many businesses out there that want to get involved, and a lot of times they don't know how.
Right.
So, I mean, you can do something as simple as going to Google Maps and looking at all the businesses within 30 minutes of you, and look them up on LinkedIn, and then start adding them and adding people that work there. And most of the events, we do 4 to 5 events a year through the dealership, and are able to raise 40 to 60,000 per event. And a lot of these are businesses that are like, hey, we want to be involved.
Right.
They will like my post, and I'll reach out and say, hey, here's some information on the nonprofit. Would you like to bring some clients out and vendors and get involved in the mission?
Love it. I was even thinking of an online event, like if we did an online comedy show, and got sponsors for that, raising money for, you know, but give them like free tickets to the show to, you know, watch it and starting to grow that way. You know, I know what your mother is going to say, that I didn't let you talk enough. That's why she was calling.
That's correct.
You know what it is? She know I get into it though, and I know
like he tells me he wants me to co-host, right? And then
Richie says the same thing.
His mouth the whole time.
Richie says the same thing. But you wanted to ask Sheena one last question when we went to break. Remember about advocating for your body or something?
Oh yeah, how important is it? I mean, to just you had to trust yourself, right? You knew that something was wrong, and it seems like it was a really frustrating journey for you.
Yeah, it was really hard because, you know, everyone just kept saying your MRIs are clear. Or I even had a doctor in Dallas, because my family was like, can't you stay somewhere local? And I went to a neurosurgeon, and he literally told me that your artery is barely touching your nerve, and it's probably sinus pressure. And then my favorite line, he said, you don't look suicidal to me. Oh. And I started bawling, and I was like, I'm going to Dr. Lim. And, you know, I just think to myself that I'm very strong and stubborn, and I was able to figure this out. And that's why I share awareness, because a lot of people listen to one doctor and they take that as the answer.
Right.
They're stuck living. So that's why, you know, so many people are like, why do you do this? And like I said, if 5 minutes of my knowledge can point someone in the right direction and help them, and I was kind of the guinea pig of all this and help them through the surgery. It just means so much to be able to help people going through this.
You're awesome. You're a wonderful spokesperson for it. You're a pleasure, and I definitely want to talk to you more about this, and we'll definitely have you back. Sheena Sharapata, thank you so much, from Dallas, Texas.
Thank you.
All right. How about we go to break and we'll bring out Dan nice and early and have some fun with our comic, Dan LaRocco.
Sounds good.
Zwanger Passeri has been delivering a true patient-centric experience for the past 70 years. You can always expect to be cared for with compassion, scanned on the latest technology, and a highly trained subspecialized radiologist to interpret your images.
And we're back with Laughter Saves Lives. Live. Yeah, answer on the show, your mother. She's calling to yell. I'm telling you. She's upset that I'm not letting you talk enough. Please. Dan, how are you, my friend?
Good.
You got a big bottle.
I got my energy sustainable bottle here.
Ooh, look at Dan.
Like a reusable bottle.
Thank you.
Reusable bottle. He's doing it
Good
right.
man. Good man.
Hi, Mama.
Well, is everything all right there? Everything okay?
Hi. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
You don't listen?
All right.
You
I know.
talk too much?
All right.
Go ahead. You got anything else?
We're on the air. Well, we'll talk in a little while. So, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right. I love you, Mama.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Like 4.5 years.
Funny guy. This is the up-and-coming comics. Long Island has always been a hotbed for comedy. Going years and years back when there were 7 clubs. Now we don't have as many clubs, so it's harder to get stage time. But when you meet somebody like this guy, like my man Alex in the back, who's working so hard to get on stage in these little rooms that, I used to do the crappiest rooms, any place to get on stage, and I get it. I couldn't do it again. I don't know how you guys do it.
I did a show in someone's kitchen once.
Wow.
Just in a kitchen. This is like COVID.
How many
August.
people? How many people were there?
8.
Yeah, but were they good? Were they laugh?
Great.
You know what? And my dad will say, "Oh, I did a show that there's only 10 people there." And I'll go, "Oh," because I've been doing it so long,
Right.
"Oh, you suck," They usually say you suck,
Yeah,
but it's I go, all you need is 10 people who are into it to stimulate you, to get you going, right?
Yeah.
And you forget after a while that it's only 8 if they're good.
Because I've done a show with like 12 people there. That was like so much fun. And I've done a show with 200 people there, and I'm like, this was the worst night of my life. They sucked.
All right, now let's
Dan.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Was there 200 people there?
Yeah, I've done it.
Wow. Okay, all right. I thought you were just throwing.
No,
the big audience is out. All right.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm good. I'm gonna now.
I've done some big gigs, man.
I've been doing this a long time, Dan. I'm gonna be.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't mean to top you. 201 I did once.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I'm
no
telling.
All right.
Telling you the truth, Big Dan.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us what do you talk about on stage?
Yeah.
Tell us.
I don't know. I was watching. We did a show together recently.
Mm-hmm.
The library, Long Beach Library.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We're not bragging. We're not bragging.
There were 203 people there. So,
yep.
It was very exciting.
A lot of books.
You talked a lot about having your HD.
Yes.
And, Will Smooth was a big part of it too. That was.
Nobody even realized Smooth was in the movie. Because Smith, right? Will Smith was.
Well, Smooth doesn't get the credit he deserves.
He doesn't get the credit.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm glad you brought it up again. I'm glad, Dan.
I talk a lot about. I don't know. I talk about my family, my disorder.
Well, tell us about it. Yeah, tell us.
Before he tells you about it, Liv, do me a favor. Pass Dan your mic.
You got to give up my mic for this?
You got to give up your mic.
I don't know. All right,
I know your mother's going to be mad at me, but
she will. Now we took away her mic. She's definitely not speaking anymore. Apparently, I don't know. You talked over her the whole time. Now she doesn't even have audio.
Yeah, you come closer to me.
This is Okay.
Hey.
Hello.
Wow, this is Hello. I feel like I'm about to do like weekend
update. So
update.
tell us some of the shtick you do, Dan, because it was funny stuff.
Thank you. I have this. I talked recently more about. I don't think you saw this stuff yet about just like being an anxious person, having some anxiety. It sucks. And you guys were talking about actually ADHD, of course, and I'm plagued with it. It's bad. It's bad. And I got in my car recently. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not going to listen to music. I'm not going to, turn it up. I'm going to drive in silence. I'm going to, do this whole drive, whatever. I'm going to drive in silence, figure out what's going on in my brain. I didn't make it out of the driveway. I didn't make it out of the driveway, down the block at all. I'm so much worse off than I thought.
Do I have to laugh into here?
Please.
Yes.
I need the applause sound.
Got you.
I'm not doing well.
We don't do the applause sound for the comics, only when you bring them on. Dan doesn't need that. He's funny.
It's the first applause break I've ever gotten. That was the only one. I talk a lot about I was homeschooled. I know this is I was actually homeschooled.
Interesting.
And I always say that the weirdest part about being homeschooled was since I had a what? Sorry.
So they can hear.
I was homeschooled. Yes, it's my bad. And the weirdest part about that, being homeschooled, was having a teacher that wanted to hook up with me. That was one of my big bits. And now I said it on this show. And
family show.
Hopefully, optimum lets that one slide. But I think we'll be okay. It wasn't that bad. I thought it was a good joke. Moving right along, please. I don't know what else. You guys, big Italian family. You guys,
Italian family. Yep.
You said you slipped a stunad in here earlier.
Big
time. Yeah, it was very subtle. I was like,
she called
one
me
of my
stunad?
favorite words.
Did you call me stunad?
I did call you a stunad.
Big time.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it.
He doesn't even know anymore.
Big time. Big time stunad.
Big time stunad over here.
I have Italian family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, background for sure. And that was cool. Being Italian, I thought it was something cool though when I was younger, because we do that. We say mozzarella and talk like this. But like, as I've progressed and gotten older, I realized I'm like, being Italian is just having body hair and that's it.
Oof.
And that's that's my thing. Because like, if you're not Italian, you've never said like, oh my god, I got to trim my knuckles. You're like, only us, man. It's it's a lot. I don't know. I have that. I've done that joke on stage, and this guy, I remember this show in Long Beach, this dude just started like moaning and groaning. He was like, oh my gosh. I was like, are you Italian? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, you poor thing. I was like, you kidding?
Crying.
Yeah, basically. And he was like, I totally relate to it. And we had like a fun exchange. And after the show, he came up to me and he was like, dude, look at my knuckles. He's like, look at this and all this stuff. And the craziest knuckle, like you could braid it. It was pretty gross. But yeah, I don't know. That's some of the Italian. I don't know what else.
His name is LOROCC.
LA.
LA. I'm sorry, LA. LAROCC.
We have
Stunad strikes again.
Look,
What?
We have. But I'm just saying, how many people have the same 6 letters as we do?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
LAROCC.
Yeah, there it is.
OCC.
You got it on the screen there.
LaRocchia, Larocco. Then there was this kid, Lamarca, too, was the last name of some kid.
Lamarca,
it's all, I don't like.
And it's without the la. Did you get a lot of like la, and then they would
capital R? You get capital R?
No, I am capital R.
Oh, you are?
So you guys are I'm not going to lie. I'm not gonna
he's
lie.
capital R, correct?
I am capital R. This is
wrong.
incorrect.
Wrong.
It's
there it is. Look how fast
Alex is on it.
man.
He knows.
That is Alex. He is so quick.
So how do you pronounce it? LaRocco.
LaRocco.
But I've heard LaRocca. I've heard LaRusso. I've heard all the things.
LaRocchia, I get.
LaRocchia, yeah.
You've gotten a Lacraccia.
Lacraccia. Yep. But that was when I was wearing my Speedo.
On the beach,
that's
right?
Nobody needs to see that.
No. God, no, please. I've heard all the bad last names.
Yeah.
A lot of them. But my mom, she's kind of funny. I actually just had to move back into my mom's house.
Oh, nice.
And I've been there for I think 3 months.
Uh-huh.
How's
that go?
It's actually been 6 days. It just feels like
it
feels horrible. It feels like 3 months.
I can relate.
Holy
Oh yeah, she just came back from college.
Came back, right? Yeah.
Had her own apartment.
Get out of there.
Now she's back with us.
It's tough because I had moved out from my family home for 2-3 years actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was out.
Yeah.
And then 4 weeks ago or so, my apartment flooded in Long Beach. My apartment flooded. It was a whole thing. It was bad. And So I like moved back to my mom's for a couple of days. I was 5 days in, and I was like, enough is enough. I'll live on the street. I literally slept outside the studio.
Yeah. Oh, was that your cardboard box?
That was my box. Yeah, my tent.
I'll sleep in water.
I'll do it, man. Because the apartment, it flooded. So my apartment, the sprinkler head popped off in the middle of the night.
Ooh.
So I'm sure you've seen this. So sprinkler head pops off. Our smoke alarms are going off and everything. It's 5 a.m. I get woken up. I got blackout curtains slammed shut. I can't wait to sleep in. I went to bed so late at like 1:30. I wake up at 5 a.m. It's bad. My eardrums are ringing, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I get out of my bed, and there's 3 inches of water in my bedroom.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, what? So I open the door. I run into the living room, and the ceiling just hates me. The ceiling was just ruining my life, and just this whole sprinkler head. I'll show you pictures. You'll love it. Just popped off the ceiling and just destroyed everything. It was real bad. So that's
crazy. That is crazy.
I've never heard of that happening.
Yeah. No, people are getting sued. It's a whole.
Oh, it's gonna be a mess.
It's a big old mess.
It's gonna be a mess.
So
do you talk about any of your previous jobs in your act, or college, or childhood? Any of that stuff?
Oh, childhood. I'm trying to think of childhood.
Is that a good
stuff.
childhood?
Yeah, I divorced parents, which is for the best at this point now. I think that was good to get rolled dragged through the mud watching that as a kid. That was fun.
Sounds like a ball. Like a ball.
Yes, yeah, it was a ball. It really was. Yeah, I got a real great sense of humor because of that. But
so that's where it comes from.
Yes. Oh, that's it. It's the therapy, right? I have a lot of stuff about like my grandmother in my act. She was cool. Like people's the name, like your grandparents, right? Like what are the names you have for them?
Grandma and grandpa.
Thank you. Love it. Classic. I like it. No, it is. I asked that question sometimes, like, what do your grandkids call you? And this lady said, Your Royal Highness, like trying to be cute.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they call you that? She's like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to punch you in the face later. Like, no one calls you that. I was like, I swear. I'm like, that's not true. And but I was like, these names you hear, like, Juju and Gam, all these weird things. Yeah. And I said, I just call my grandmother a racist. Which is it is what it is. That's
I'm Grandbabs.
Yeah.
Grandbabs.
Yeah. Very unique. Well, where it comes from. They used to call me. I don't know how we got to it. Babs.
I don't either. Babs.
Okay.
Somehow we
I
got
heard that earlier.
Yes.
I heard you.
Oh, I did.
Babs came out.
Oh, you still call me that? Somehow we got to Babs. So when my daughter-in-law was pregnant, I said, I don't want to be called I just felt like I was too young to be called grandpa.
How old were you when you became a grandfather?
7 years ago. I'm 64 now.
All right. Nice.
I'm 64 now. So I just said, you know what? Grandbabs, let's go. And it's great. I mean, because people turn around and just to hear Grandbabs, like, everybody's like, what the frick is that? It is. But when
I know, but he thinks it's like, that's all he knows.
Yeah,
it's serious to him.
Yeah,
so.
Grandbabs.
My mom, what's really funny is like, I think we just weird mental thing. So my mom, she just became a grandmother like 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And she wanted to be called Gigi.
Gigi.
Yeah, even though I'm pretty sure Gigi is great grandmother.
That's what we called my father. Yeah.
Right? Okay, yeah. Well, that's so whatever, I'll let it slide.
Right.
And now whenever my niece is around, her granddaughter, all of us just instinctually call my mom Gigi now. Whenever it's this weird thing your brain does where all of a sudden you're like, since she's here, you're Gigi.
Exactly.
We do the same.
I call him Grandbabs in front of the other ones.
It's
for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It's just a weird. I don't know why.
Switch. You got to enforce it.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. My niece is she's a real cute girl.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
She is. Yeah. She curses a lot.
How old is she?
2.5.
That's great.
Yeah,
great.
Even better.
Yeah, she wouldn't be allowed on the show. She's not TV friendly.
Wait till she goes to school.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she lets it fly.
That's gonna be a problem.
I know. She is so cute, man. She does. This was pretty funny. My mom hosted this party, I remember, and my niece was there. She was only like 1 at the time. She's a super cute girl, and this little 1-year-old running around. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, so cute!" And she was like just chilling. And she's only around our family. She's only 1. And I invited my friend Kyrie, who I grew up with. Kyrie, he's black, he's gay, he's awesome dude, really great family friend, known him my whole life. And my niece saw him at the party and just started crying. which was really uncomfortable. You know, like
Sure.
it got very awkward because like he's the only dude there, like the only black guy there, and she's just around this whitewashed environment. And Kyrie, he's gay and all this stuff. He's very out there and eccentric. And I said, he was like, "Oh my God, guys!" He was like, "This racist little baby." At the party, and it got so uncomfortable. It was really awkward.
No.
And I tried to save it. I'm always like the jokester around people, of course, and I stood up at the party. I was like, Kyrie, I was like, no, I was like, she's not racist. I was like, guys, relax. I was like, she's homophobic.
All right, we gotta go. Dan,
yes.
Thank you to Sheena. Thank you to Butch for putting the show together. And thank you to Olivia Lynn LaRocchia coming from the Stunad. Now we got to go and get her something to eat. That's the only reason she agreed to come on.
That was my payment.
Yep.
So.
Good night.
Thank
Laughter
you.
Saves
Good
Lives
night.
live.
Grandbabs.
Old leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. Who's chasing the beer that circle the lips? Play ball, play ball. Load at the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.